After Crystal, Kiara and Lily's version of the theme song in the last video, we're back to Grace's original version. But if you want to email me your version that I can use in a video, I'd love to hear it.
It's time for Maths with Mr. Thomas.
It is indeed, Grace, and it's chapter 9 and it's the second lesson. We're moving on to look now at double brackets.
Ooh, is that like brackets?
It is indeed, yes. And we're going to multiply out them. Quick recap from the last lesson. Remember the whole multiplying out brackets. It comes from the area of a rectangle. To get the area of the rectangle, you
You do the length times the breadth, so you do the 8 times 3 is 24. There you go.
You do indeed, yes. And it comes from slightly more complicated versions of that, because instead of just 3 and 8, we may have an unknown thrown in, or even 2 unknowns. But to get the area of a rectangle, you do the same thing. You would still do the length times the breadth. So the length here is the x plus that 7. That there would be the total length. Whatever the x is, add on the 7. And the breadth would be x. So it's the x add 7 times by x. And what we saw is, to multiply that together, we would do the x times by the x, because we're really splitting it up and getting the area of that squared to get x squared, and we would do the x times the 7 for the area of this rectangle, and for the total area we just add them together. But that is when we just have a single bracket. We're now wanting to move on to double brackets, but again I'm going to link it back to this area of a rectangle, because we may have, again, some unknown, but we may have something like this. We know the length is x plus 5 and the breadth is x plus 1. So we've got some unknown, and that's 5 longer than that unknown. And again, we've got an unknown, and that is 1 longer. To get the area of that rectangle, how do you do it?
That's still length times breadth.
It is indeed good. The area is still length times breadth. And what would you have this time?
X plus 5 times by x plus 1.
Well done, good. So we would write it just like that. Now what that really means if we split this up, well, because that's x plus 5, we would have a length x, and that's 5 longer. So whatever x is, and then it's 5 longer than that. And this length here, the x plus 1, we could also split that up. So that is also some length x, and then the 1. What you'll notice here is that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. We've got the x and then the 5, we've got the x and then the 1. And if we split it up, we've got 4 rectangles here. If we work out each one separately, well, for the first one, for this rectangle here, the length of it here is going to be x, and the breadth of it here is going to be x, so we would do the x times the x, which gives us x squared. For the second rectangle, again, it's length times breadth, so the length is x, and the breadth, well, it's the same as this bit, it's just 1, so it's going to be the x times 1, which is just x. With the third one, the length of it from here to here is going to be 5. We know that, that's just at the bottom, so that's going to be 5. We're multiplying that by the breadth, so it's 5 times x, which is 5x. And with this here, the length times the breadth is going to be the 5 times by the 1, so you'd have a plus 5.
Could you simplify that?
Yes, you would have to simplify it. So you'd put any x squareds together.
So it's just x squared, there's no other x squared.
But with the x's, you've got an x and a plus 5x. Oh, x times 5x is 6x. It is indeed good. And 5, number-wise, there's no other numbers just on their own, so that would just stay as a plus 5. That is really what we're wanting to think about when we're multiplying out brackets, but there is a quick way to do that. Really what we're doing is we're taking the x and multiplying it by the x. We're then taking the x and we're multiplying it by the 1. Then we're doing the 5 times by the x, and then we're doing the 5 times the 1. This is just a quick trick used to multiply out brackets when you're taking the first term in the first bracket and multiplying it by everything in the second, and then when you're taking the second term in the first bracket and multiplying it by everything in the second. But I often think when I'm doing this about Jack's favourite thing in the whole wide world. Say it with me. Oh, I love rainbows! You do indeed, Jack. Indeed, Jack? You do indeed, Jack. We all know that. So, we want to multiply the x by the x. So we do x times x, which gives us x squared. We would do this positive x times by the positive 1. X times 1 is plus 1x. Then we do the 5 times everything. You can always put the rainbows up here, but then you get so many rainbows it starts to look like a little mess. So I prefer just to put them at the bottom. Do the 5 times the x. So 5 times x is 5x. And then you would do the 5 times the 1. 5 times 1 is 5. So you'd have a plus 5. So I was thinking about rainbows because you're drawing in these wee rainbows. You're taking that first term, you're doing the x times by the x plus 1, and then you're doing the 5 times by the x plus 1. So if you draw that in there, then you can make sure you're getting everything. Once again, you would simplify that. So that's an x squared. 1x add 5x is 6x, and the positive 5. Let's try a few examples with that. For each one, I'm going to draw in these wee loops to make sure I'm taking the first term in the first bracket times everything, and then the second term in the first bracket times everything. Some people also call this crab's claw. If you imagine, that's like the top of the claw here, and then the bottom of the claw there. Some people also use something called FOIL, first outside, inside, last. So you multiply the first terms, then the outside terms, then the inside terms, and then the last terms. But I always think about rainbows when I'm doing this. You could also be mathematically correct and write it as x bracket x plus 1 plus 5 bracket x plus 1. As I said, rainbows, just a daft wee trick to help you remember what to do. So let's try some examples. We've got the x plus 2 times by the x plus 3. So if we draw in our rainbows, we do the x times the x, which gives us, good, it's going to be x squared. Then you would have the x times that positive 3, which is, good, it's positive 3x. Then you've got the 2 times the x. 2 times x is, good, it's 2x. And then it's going to be the 2 times by that positive 3. 2 times 3 is positive 6. Brilliant. If you simplify that, x squared, you've only got the x squared. There's no other x squared. 3x add 2x is positive 5x. And the 6, there's no other numbers on their own, so it would stay as that. Let's try another one. X plus 9 times by x plus 4. So x times x is x squared. Then you would have x times a positive 4. X times 4 is 4x. Good. And then you would move on to the 9 and do the 9 times the x. 9x. Good. And after that, you would have the 9 times by that plus 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Good. Simplifying that, you've only got x squared. There's no other x squareds to add or subtract. But you've got 4x add 9x. What's 4x add 9x? 13x. Good. And number-wise, you've got the 36. There's no other numbers, so it stays as 36. Woo! C. 2x plus 3 bracket x plus 7. So, 2x times by the x. What's 2x times by x? Good, it's 2x squared. 2x times by the 7. 2x times 7 is 14x. Brilliant. Yeah, you're doing really well with this. Then you've got the 3 times by the x. 3 times x is... good, that's 3x, and 3 times 7 is 21. So it stays as 21. After that, x squared, how many x squareds do you have? Just 2x squared. Good, it's 2x squared. There's no other x squareds to add or subtract. 14x add 3x is 17x, and the 21 stays as plus 21. Next one, 6 add 5x bracket x plus 8. Oh, let me do this one. Go on then, Alistair, what would you have? 6 times x is 6x. It is, good. And then what? 6 times the 8. 6 times 8 is 48. Everybody knows that. And then you would have the 5x times the x. 5x times x is 5x squared. And then you would have 5x times by the 8. And 5x times by the 8 is 40x. Brilliant. Good. Once again, how many x squared, how many x's, how many numbers? So, with the x squared, you've got 5x squared. There's no other x squareds to add or subtract. X's, you've got 6x and then add 40x. What's 6x add 40x? Yeah, it's 46x. Good. And number-wise, you've got the 48, so that would just stay as 48. Notice how for every single one of these, I'm just arranging it so you get an answer with an x squared, then an x, then a number. You can jumble it around if you want. You could easily write this one as 5x, add 6, add x squared. Or 6, add 5x, add x squared. It doesn't matter what you do, but most of the time you write it with the highest power first, and then a descending order of powers. So x squared, x number. Let's try another one. Let's bring in some negatives. Oh, yes, I love negatives. Good, then let's try it. X take away 8 bracket x plus 2. Again, same way, rainbows. So drawing a rainbow, x times x gives you x squared. Brilliant. And then you've got the x times by that 2. X times 2 is 2x. Good. And then it's the negative 8. Notice there is a negative in there. So treat that as negative 8 times x. So x is a positive, 8 is negative. They are different signs, so it'll be negative 8x. Pay attention to the negatives. Then you'd have the negative 8 times by the 2. Again, a positive and a negative, so it's negative, and 8 times 2 is 16. After that, with the x squared, you've got x squared. With the x's, 2x take away 18x. 2 take away 8 is negative 6. And the negative 16 stays as negative 16. Woo! With the next one, x take away 6, bracket, x take away 7. So, drawing in the rainbows, you've got x times by x. X times x is? Good, that's just x squared. X times negative 7. So you've got positive x and negative 7. Different signs, so it's subtract. And x times 7 is 7x. Then moving on to the negative 6. Negative 6 times x is going to be negative 6x. And negative 6 times negative 7. Two negatives make a positive 42. Well done. Good. Thank you, Adam. X squared, take away 7x, take away 6x plus 42. X squared staying as x squared. Negative 7x, take away 6x.
Oh, I think it's going to be take away 13x.
Well done, Kieran. Yeah, very well done. It is take away 13x and plus 42.
Is that just staying as plus 42?
It is, Julia. Yeah, well done. It just stays as plus 42. Woo! So x squared, take away 13x plus 42. Next one for C, x add 5, bracket, 3x, take away 5. So, rainbows, x times by 3x. X times 3x is 3x squared. It is. Then x times by negative 5. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. Good. Positive 5 times by 3x. What's positive 5 times by 3x? 15x. It is. Good. And positive 5 times negative 5. The signs are different. That's a positive, that's a negative, so your answer is negative, and 5 times 5 is 25. After that, with the x squared, you've got 3x squared. There's no other x squared. Negative 5x add 15x. What's negative 5 add 15? Yeah, you can think about it in terms of temperature. If temperature was negative 5 and went up 15, or you could do 15, take away 5. Either way, you get positive 10x, and the negative 25 stays as negative 25. With D, 11 take away 4x, bracket, 2x take away 1. Rainbows! 11 times by 2x. 11 times 2x is, yes, 22x. Brilliant. 11 times by negative 1. 11 times negative 1 is, good, it's going to be negative 11. You got it. Then you've got the negative 4x times by 2x. What's negative 4x times 2x? Negative, positive, so it'll be negative. 4 times 2 is 8. And x times x gives you x squared, so negative 8x squared. And finally, negative 4x times negative 1. A negative times a negative is a positive, and 4x times 1 is just 4x. With the x squared, you've got negative 8x squared. There's no other x squared, so it stays as negative 8x squared. With the x's, though, you've got 22x add 4x. What's 22x add 4x? Good, 26x. And negative 11 is your number that's just on its own, so that would stay as negative 11. Woo! Example 3. Multiply out the brackets here and simplify. So, we have x plus 7 in brackets squared. Oh, it's squared! It is, Lewis. What does it mean if it's squared? It means you multiply it by itself. So that means you'd have x plus 7 times x plus 7. You would indeed, yes. And for that, because you've got x plus 7 times x plus 7, you want to think about Oliver's favourite thing in the whole wide world. Oliver, what do you love?
Oh, I love rainbows.
So you would have the x times by the x. X times x is, good, it's x squared. Then you would have the x times by the 7. X times 7 is
7x.
Good. Then you would have the 7 times by the x. 7 times x,
it's still 7x.
Good. And then the 7 times the 7 is
49. Positive.
good. So you'd have the plus 49. X squared, x number. So x squared, there's no other x squared. So it's staying as positive x squared. Just one x squared. X is though, you've got 7x add 7x.
That's 14x.
It is. You've got plus 14x. And with 49, it just stays as 49. Woo! Well done. With B, 5 take away 3x in brackets squared. Because it's squared? Does that mean you times it by itself? It does indeed, yeah.
Oh, so you'd have 5 take away 3x times 5 take away 3x.
You do it, yeah. And after that, you want to think about, what is it you love, Julie?
Rainbows!
Good, so you would have the 5 times the 5, and 5 times 5 is 25. Then you would have the 5 times the negative 3x. 5 times negative 3x, that's negative 15x. It is, good. And then the negative 3x times by 5, negative times a positive. The 5 is just a positive, it's positive 5. Negative 3x, negative and a positive, so it's going to be negative. And 3x times 5 is 15x. And finally, negative 3x times negative 3x. Oh, Mr. Thomas, because it's two negatives, does that mean it's going to be a positive? It does indeed, yeah. And 3x times 3x? Well, 3 times 3 is 9, and x times x is x squared, so a positive 9x squared. You would indeed, yeah. Well done, Caitlin. And from there, x squared, x numbers. So with the x squared, we've got 9x squared. That's just thing as 9x squared. There's no other x squared to add or subtract. With the x's, take away 15x, take away 15x. What would that do?
Does that cancel out?
No, it does not, because you want to think if the temperature was negative 15 and you take away another 15. Well, it's going down further into the negatives. Negative 15 take away 15 is negative 30x. And number-wise, you've got the 25. There's no other numbers just on their own, so it would stay as positive 25. That is the first lesson with double brackets. There are some questions in the Zeta Maths book. Look at their National 5 book, page 30 to 32, exercise 5.4 to 5.7. Knock yourself out with all those questions. Or you could look at the TJ National 5 book, that's page 14, exercise 1.2, questions 1 to 3. Check your answers, make sure you can multiply out brackets, but in order to do it, again, it helps if you think about John's favourite thing in the whole wide world.
I love rainbows!
Yeah, we know, John. Thank you very much. And remember, if you want to email in your own version of the theme song, I'd love to hear it to use in a video. Woo! Thank you.